If this gun doesn't make a fool of me, I'll try to just do a simple field strip on it. This is the Colt Combat Commander in 45 ACP, and I'm just going to do just a real simple field strip on it. So like with most other guns, and I like to do this because I have larger hands, but I hold it back kind of like I do on a Glock, and I slide the slide back enough, and I'll show you on this side what this looks like. This pin, a lot like the P238. I'll pull this slide back and depress the pin on the other side, and it comes out like that. Okay, just push it forward, just depress the trigger there. So that's that. Now this part gets a little bit more tricky, and I'm going to try to do it on video, but again, this is kind of going to make me look like a fool. This nut on the end, this needs to be depressed down, so that way you can slide it, and we'll see if I can do it here. You just got to get it down enough where I'm going to use this. Oh, you're saying, all you Colt enthusiasts, like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, whatever. I was never one of you. I was just a Glock enthusiast, and then I got a Colt, and so I decided to break it down. So there we go. There, that bushing comes out, and if I can keep from shooting this out, that the recoil spring comes out, piston, and then this nut comes off of the barrel with, if you twist it a certain way, and see that's that little piece right there that you have to get past this slide, and then the barrel actually comes out the front. Now when we go to put it back in, this will need to be aligned so that way I can get that inside, and that is kind of the tricky part. So it just takes a little bit of finesse and diddling with. So I'm going to put that back in. I'm going to push this back like that. I'm just going to sit this down here for a second. Well, I'll put this back in. So you put that in and line it up, and you twist it over to this side. And then I will get the piston back in and seated. And so it's seated with the flat part. You see that flat part down. And then you'll stick your recoil spring back in. And then you'll put your bushing back down like that and slide that back into place. Snapped the way it should. Now, this is a little bit tricky spot. You see that hole right there? When you line it up, let me seat this correctly. You have to be able to seat that in to there like that, but enough where you can put this slide lock through it. So let me look here. These are always such a pain in the ass. It's probably, it would probably be the single reason why I don't like this gun. It's because you get to this point, and then I'm trying to show it to you on video, and I'm looking like a dumbass. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, here, yeah. It actually exposed the problem. So on these, what is it? On these models, there's a safety mechanism right there that keeps the slide from coming back. And if I wouldn't have cocked the trigger, I probably wouldn't have seen it. And I just forget it every time. Again, I love Colts just for the history and everything, but at the same time, they're kind of a little bit finicky to put back together. And hopefully I can get this lined up. There we go. So actually it does look like it might be lined up, so I'm going to put this in, try to at least. There we go. And we're back. Good to go. So it takes a little finesse. I mean, that's normally the way Colt weaponry works in the first place. My AR-15, which is a Colt, doesn't have any problems like that, but AR-15 builds are a little bit different than 1911s. If that's the only problem I have with this gun ever, then that's great. I haven't had to change out the any mainsprings or recoil springs or anything like that, right? This has just been in 45 ACP, just a pleasurable gun. I got it on the cheap, and I've really had a lot of fun shooting it. But again, I'm not really like a Colt or 1911 guru or anything, so you'll forgive me if I offend people, but I definitely have an appreciation for the gun. Would I spend $1,400 on something like this? Probably not, but just because that's like 3 Glocks. But at the same time that I got at the value I did, I probably won't ever get rid of it. It's high quality, and I can understand why people pay what they do for it. And Colt makes a really good product, and there's a reason why they're some of the best arms manufacturers in the world. So good deal. Now you know how to disassemble it. Try it for yourself. Maybe borrow somebody else's instead of paying so much for a Colt. But if you decide to, at least you know how to break it down.